We're going to train somewhere else. I want y'all to come on around here and let's look at 1 Peter chapter 1. Not 1 Peter chapter 1, but Hosea 12 and 10. Is everybody all right this evening? Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want y'all. I don't want y'all to be lame, man. I got a ride mode lady.
I'm good now.
She really liked that fair stuff. When I went to the fair with her last year, that was the first time I went to the fair in 15 years.
Oh, nigga.
Yeah, it might have been about 15 years, man. About 14 years, 13 years, something like that. I never really wanted to go. Only went because she used to want to go. I ain't never want to go. Nigga, I don't get on no rides. I don't trust that stuff. I don't know about y'all. I don't trust that stuff. He said, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So now we sit back and look at it. He said he used similitudes by the ministry of the prophet. And what we're going to talk about is something that we looked at a little bit Wednesday. And we're going to delve into it right now. Proverbs 10 and 16. It just came to my mind. We'll work it from there. We will work it from there. We will work it from there. Proverbs 10 and 16. Proverbs 10 and 16 says this: the labor of the righteous tend to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin. Now, what's the first thing coming into you brother's mind when you see the labor of the righteous tend to life? It's one of the first things coming to your mind when you hear that. Anybody want? Huh? Not just good. He say the labor or the work, right? The work of the righteous tend to life. So sit back and let's look at something in John chapter 9. The thing that we sitting back doing, after that, give me 1 Corinthians chapter, matter of fact, make it Deuteronomy 30. Then we'll go to 1 Corinthians 15. Remember how we talked about in the book of Proverbs, how it says that a man diligent in his labor will stand before kings. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and you looking at what you're doing with your soul, this is a job all in itself. You know what I'm saying? You know, preaching the word of job, people got earthly jobs, but saving your soul is a work too. Remember this man say, I will work a work in your days, which you would no wise believe, even though a man told it to you. John chapter 9 and verse 1. And Yahshua passed by, and he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yahshua answered, neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day, the night come when no man can work. So it said the labor of the righteous tend to life. This man just said, I got to work that I got to work. I got to work that I got to work. I got to do the work, so that means I've been hired to do a job, then don't. Y'all follow what I'm saying? I've been hired to do a job because it said the labor of the righteous tend to life. So do you know what that means? Every single solitary thing to the work that Yahshua did, what did it tend to? Well, let's look at something in Luke chapter 9. Well, let's look at Deuteronomy 30 first. About verse 19 come to my mind. I had some things in my mind, but we're going in a different direction. Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I think Deuteronomy 32 is what I wanted specifically. It is. We'll get around to that in a moment. It might kind of recall where it's located. Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. That thou may love Yah thy God, and thou may obey his voice, thou may cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou may dwell in the land which Yah sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Now remember, we just read something, not something that come to my mind. Now you just said that he made an oath to confirm the oath that he swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? He said the work of the righteous tend to life. But let's look at something. Let's go back to James chapter 2. See, a lot of y'all will sit back and say, it's the same way of saying you believe in something, but you don't do nothing to actually bring it to pass. You know how people say, I got a dream, but they don't put no action to the dream, so the dream actually is worth nothing. James chapter 2, verse 21. Because if we remember what the law say, I think he finna tell us. I ain't got to tell you. He finna tell you. He said, was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac his son upon the altar? See thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. And the scripture was fulfilled which saith, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God. You see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. I think that's something, because it said in Genesis chapter 15 that this man clearly quoted, that James clearly quoted, that Abraham believed God and he was counted to him for righteousness. But even in that belief, it was some work that he had to do, because if Abraham was counted righteous, wasn't he a righteous man? When you say, well, you look like you finna die.
I just got sleep.
You know what I'm saying? So let's sit back and look at, wouldn't you say that the works that Abraham did tended unto life? Well, let's sit back and see how they tended unto life in Genesis chapter 18. Ain't the son, and you sit back and you look at this stuff will take you right back to the law, and it's going to take you back to the law. Even when you sit back and look at everything that Jacob did, all the works that he did, they tended unto life. We have to sit back and look at, he also said the fruit of the wicked is sin. Yeah, make sure you don't fall in that category. You gotta ask yourself, what are you working towards? What is your purpose? What type of payment, what type of wages are you trying to receive? Genesis 18 and 17. And Yah said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. Now ask yourself a question. He said, should I hide from Abraham what I'm finna do? Now how you think that linked right back up with the Lord? He said, shall I hide from Abraham the things that I do? Well, look and see in John chapter 5, verse 16. Because that means if he say he going to hide from what I mean, that mean I ain't going to hide my work from him, right? I'm showing what I'm going to do. John 5 and 16. He said, and therefore did the Jews persecute Yahshua and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. Matter of fact, back it up about verse 7. Well, verse 5. I'm going to show you something that's about sitting back and you looking at some labor that would be tending unto life. Let's see what happened. He said, there was a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. When Yahshua saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he saith unto him, wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another step down before me. Yahshua said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole, and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. You know, and it's not that we deal with ISUPK. Now you see how these niggas just told that man, it's not law. They just sat back and missed the whole fact that the man was just healed. All they did worry about is, it's not right for you to pick up this bed. No, you know, ISUPK did this last year. They finna do it again this year. They finna have a cookout on the Sabbath, I believe. And they say all Israel's invited. All blacks and Hispanics can come down to Harlem to the cookout. You know what I'm saying? And you had niggas, oh, you niggas breaking the Sabbath. You cooking on the Sabbath. The thing that they did fail to mention is, or even sit back and think about, regardless if it was people there who dealt in the word, do you not know that more than likely it's probably going to be some people coming through there that are hungry, don't get to eat every day, ain't got nothing, and you would rather let them starve by saying go get some cold cuts than to actually feed a man. When the Lord already showed you that with the plucking of the corn. You know what I'm saying? You go get, because them people said he was sinning when he was doing that. Because he was getting himself something to eat. Y'all do know that, right? I know y'all do. I'm talking about, y'all on their phone do know that, right? Matthew chapter 12 by verse 1. They came to him, said he was sinning because he said you and the disciples, you plucking corn on the Sabbath. And what and who did he tell him about when they came to him about why he was, who did he take them back to? And what he told them they were eating. What did they eat? They ate some shoe bread. You know what I'm saying? They ate some shoe bread. Say it wasn't lawful for David to eat that shoe bread, but he gave it to him. Why? Because the man was in need. You know what I'm saying? He was hungry. They not sitting back looking at, don't you realize the work that this righteous man doing tending under life? This man couldn't walk. This man couldn't walk. He couldn't walk. Oh, I know all type of people going to be at that cookout, but that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's neither here nor there. The point of what I'm talking about is regardless of the ideologies of people out there, you know full well, anybody who come up that's black, unfortunately, not going to feed anybody. But if they black, Hispanic, or Native American, they going to feed them. And you don't think of, and don't you think if somebody who was poor, any of those classifications came up, a hypocrite, they cooking on the Sabbath. They ain't even sit back and look at it. There's probably about 5 kids right there ain't had a decent meal all week. They getting one a day. That's the same thing. What they miss, that's the same thing that these people miss. He just healed the man by the power of God to give him life in his impotent body. You know what I'm talking about? And all you were worried about was what? He peeing his bed on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what the Lord told him. Verse 11. And he answered them, he that made me whole, the same said unto me, take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, what man is that which said unto thee, take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Yahshua had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. And afterwards Yahshua found him in the temple and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. That's what some of y'all need to sit back and look at. A dude inboxed me today about that. He said he had got himself in a situation messing with a married woman. He was told not to mess with a married woman. He continued to do so. And then he said a lot of bad stuff started happening to him. You know what I'm saying? When the Lord, you sit back and look at, if the Lord gets you out of a situation, you know what I'm saying, and it was bad, you'd be a fool to go back and continue doing what you have been doing. Because look what he just said. He said, go and sin no more now. Say you was impotent before. Better believe something work. But they say he ain't like a daddy though. See, the Lord would love, but see, he just told him, you go sin again if you want. He said, if you thought that right hook was nasty, wait till you catch the left. You know what I'm saying? Wait till I hit you with the uppercut. Matter of fact, I ain't coming with an uppercut. I'm going to come with a 5-punch combination.
Flying knee, nigga. I'm coming with the flying knee.
Not the flying knee. I'm talking about he coming out. Whew, ain't nothing worse when a nigga hit you with his hit and then they finish it with that quick uppercut. Short one. Catch you right here. Lift you off your feet. Make your jaw rattle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever seen somebody? I know some of y'all. I done seen this happen. Y'all ever seen somebody get hit so hard they ain't want to fight no more? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. I done seen a nigga get hit, nigga knock all the fight out of him. I seen a nigga get hit, that nigga say, you got it, bro. You got it. You know what I'm saying? I done seen that, like, nigga hit him like, God. And nigga say, you got it. Somebody just posted a video, it was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? I ain't real big on them fight video, but this one here was funny though. Cuz hit that nigga so hard, that nigga say, I don't care what y'all say, ain't nobody jumping me. Ain't nobody jumping me. I say, well, that nigga hit that nigga hit that nigga so hard he thought 4 niggas hit him.
I ain't getting jumped for nobody.
And what was made the video funny was not that he got struck, but he walked off like a little kid who had his toys taken from him and was pouting.
That nigga ran, bro.
No, he ran off, but then he went to walking.
Yeah.
And that was made it hilarious.
I ain't getting jumped for nobody.
But that was funny though. Nigga hit that nigga with an overhand right. Wop, drop. That nigga said, I ain't getting jumped for nobody. I'm talking about, but y'all don't sit back and look at, boy, the Lord can hit you that hard like this here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, I'm gonna show you an example of that in Daniel chapter 4. Only reason why I'm going to read that in Daniel chapter 4, because the dude who inboxed me, he mentioned that about what happened in Nebuchadnezzar. Because Nebuchadnezzar was doing the thing now. The Lord had gave all the kingdom in his hand, and he knocked them straight on down. Daniel chapter 4. Huh? Daniel chapter 4. Daniel chapter 4 verse 30. See, that was his son. That was his son with the writing on the wall. He said, the king spake and said, is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and the honor of my majesty? While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, say, O king of Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken. The kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling place shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen. 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and give it to whosoever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar. He was driven from men, did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird claw. And you know, we looked at this before, because you know, the Lord was driven from men, wasn't it? And his body was covered with the dew of heaven. Only difference was it was the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the only difference. You know, you have some niggas be like you stretching and pulling on that. When we sitting back looking at, we want to be covered with that same dew. But you see, he bust him on down though. He had also know anybody who walk in pride, he is able to abase. What it was is the Lord was sitting here telling him, I set you up with a kingdom now, and I gave you that. But since you sized me, I'm bust you down. And if you think this was bad, I can get something worse to you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing happened to King Hezekiah. You know what happened to King Hezekiah? Let's look at Isaiah 38 and see what happened to King Hezekiah. Isaiah chapter 38. About verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith Yah, set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto Yah, and said, Remember now, O Yah, I beseech thee, how I walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which was good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of Yah to Isaiah, saying, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. And I will deliver thee in this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from Yah, that Yah will do this thing that he has spoken. Behold, I will bring the shadow of the degrees which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down. The writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness. And then he began to pray. You know what I'm saying? Turn back the clock. But then he began to pray. I want y'all to look about verse 21. Then he began to pray. You know, there's no forgiveness of sins and things of this nature. The grave can't praise thee and all of these things of this nature here. He said, For Isaiah said, Let them take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also said, What is the sign that I shall go up to the house of Yah? I'm reading that part like I was talking to somebody about it. It might have been Golden who I was talking to about this here. Because, you know, brothers be talking about, you know, the word pharmacy in Greek means sorcerer and all this here. I don't want y'all to get caught up in none of that stuff right there, because you know it was physicians. Remember you read about the woman had the issue of blood, and they say none of the physicians could help her. You just seen this man say he took figs. He say boil them and give him that, and that'll recover. The Lord has given natural remedies. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not finna tell now one of y'all got some medication you got to take for a medical condition you have. Don't take it because you sinning. The minute you don't take it and you die. You know how big a hypocrite I be? My mama's on dialysis. She got medication she has to take to stay alive. If she stops, you know what's going to happen? She will die. And die quickly. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in none of that junk. Somebody come with that, they won't believe in none of that, man. You got high blood pressure medication and you want to take it, then you take it then. If you find other means or ways to deal with that malady that you have, you know what I'm talking about?
Stop smoking reefer.
You know what I'm saying? Except for save smoking marijuana. I think any of y'all should have enough common sense not to go smoke no marijuana. You talking about you a Jew. You go pick up a joint, I hope the whole joint set you on fire. You know what I'm talking about?
What you will.
You know what I'm saying? Like this here, man. Hey, you want to get you some cocaine leaves and boil them? I ain't mad at you. Because y'all don't know what they got to do to make cocaine. You know, cocaine is actually a leaf. It's a whole lot of process that's got to be done to get cocaine in the state that most of y'all have seen it in. You know what I'm saying? The coca leaf actually was boiled and drunk as tea and used for medicine for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? Till somebody decided to come up with some type of stuff to make powder cocaine. And then everything just went downhill from there. I'm for real, man. If after the Sabbath, y'all can look it up. I'm talking about just the coca leaf itself. There are medicinal purposes in the coca. You're not going to get high from the leaf. You know what I'm saying? Don't think, oh, if I boil this cocaine leaf in my tea, am I going to be geeked up? No, you're not going to be geeked up. You know what I'm saying? You can be geeked. I know some of y'all thinking geeked up and rolling. We don't, you know what I'm saying? It's synonymous. Like I said, man, nigga geeked up, you on that raw, man. Or you been smoking bass. Cause nigga who be geeked up is what they like to do. They out there. Peeking out the window. Nigga stay peeking and geeking. You know what I'm talking about? Nicole got mad cause I said she was in the grocery store peeking and geeking. You know what I'm saying? She was in there peeking and geeking. She thinking I'm talking about she looking like a baser. She think I'm talking about she looking like a baser because she looking like she smoked dope. Nigga, you around here peeking around corner. What you looking for? Ain't no Oreo cookies over there. It looked like she was looking for some cakes. I ain't never met nobody in my life love bread like that. All right, y'all. The call dropped now. You know what I'm saying? That stuff, man, I'm telling you now. That stuff how you peeking and geeking, you be looking crazy now. Leave that raw cocaine alone, but I'm just letting that be known now. That's what, and I'm telling you this here because that Strong Concordance had y'all messed up. Y'all know who Alexander Strong is? That's the man who wrote the Strong Concordance. You know one thing Alexander Strong ain't? He ain't no Jew. You know what I'm saying? So you can't take the things that's in his writings, even though you be like, well, it's just a diction. It's to find the word. You can't take that stuff with a grain of salt. Because any of y'all that heard that debate I had with that dude about a woman preaching and teaching, he took that Strong Concordance to say that prophesying meant preaching or teaching when the law itself tell you what prophesying is. I don't need no Strong Concordance to read. I don't need to look up no word of no Strong Concordance where I go right in the law to tell me what a prophet is. And I showed that silly nigga that, and he want to hold on to what Alexander Strong say versus what the law say. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm sitting here telling you, man, the concordance have its place. But I'm be honest with you, man, a lot of times, man, the book itself will tell you what the word means and what it's trying to tell you without you even opening it up. That's if you got some eyes to see. But the 39th chapter of that first Isaiah, this first verse. Now let's see what happened with him now. Because he told him, go and sin no more, lest some word happen to you. Let's see what happened to Hezekiah. At the time, Mejorak, Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them and showed them the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah and said unto him, what said these men, and from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. Then said he, what have they seen in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, all that is in my house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the word of Yahweh. Behold, the days come that all is in thy house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store unto this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left. saith Yah. And of thy son shall the issue from thee, which thou shalt beget. They shall take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of Yah which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, there shall be peace and truth in my days. You said that's a real black man right there. Say, shoot, it'd be good in my time. He said, it'd be straight in my time. It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse for them to come behind me. But he just told you, go and send no more lesser work. He just healed this man. You just did something. You know you wasn't supposed to go do that. You knew you wasn't supposed to go show these people all this stuff and everything in your house. He said, just because you did that, a worse thing coming on you. And you know what he looked at? Ain't gonna happen to me. Ain't gonna happen to me. Ain't gonna happen to me. I'm good. So I got 15 more years. I got peace and truth in my time. I'm good. I'm good. But a worse thing came on him though. He just didn't see it. It still came on because it came on the seed after them. They had to suffer that. They had to wear that. You know what I'm saying? When you see it, when you even sit back and look at it, man, it's too many times. You look at King Saul, even though he had already been rejected. You know what I'm saying? David come play that music to get that evil spirit off of him. You had been healed of that affliction. And what did you continue to do? Kept on being a nigga. Worst thing came on you, you died. Because he never said he was going to kill him. He just said, I ran the kingdom away from you. He told you why he killed him, because he called up them familiar spirits. When he rejected him from being king, he never said I was going to kill him. You know what I'm saying? But see, y'all don't sit back and look at it. The Lord can get you out of bad situation and position. In a state where you had to humble yourself before him, and you're going to keep on pushing it and keep saying, you better not. No, don't go sin now. Because something worse going to happen to you. Sit back and look at it. Come on back to John chapter 5. A lot of niggas love to scream that line. I ain't gonna do it no more. That same thing you said your mama, she was beating your tail. I ain't gonna do it no more. 30 minutes later, you were doing it again. She had to whoop you again. You like this here. She like this here. I'm tired of this nigga. Wait till your daddy get home. I ain't scared of that nigga. Some of y'all ain't had no daddy come home, so you just felt like I could just run over. That's why a lot of y'all do the stuff you do now, because you ain't never had no respect and no authority. The only authority you ever respected was your own. That's why you can do stuff and you don't have no problem with it. I know, and like I was just mentioning to y'all Wednesday, and I was telling you about this here, and one of the sisters acknowledged it. I just tell it to you like this here. Sometimes you ain't got to look at it if a person reminds you of you. You ain't got to sit back and look at, oh, that person was worse than me. I wasn't that bad. You just had to sit back and look at. If you see yourself in somebody and you didn't like what you saw, imagine what everybody else see in you, in the things that you just seen in yourself and somebody else that you didn't like. And imagine how you might have been grating on people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't look at stuff like that. That's why I've been telling, how many times I done told y'all in time past, you can't get caught up in, you might think you this type of person and this good of a person. And then sometimes, I'm telling you, man, I tell them all the time. That's why sometimes the Lord had to put you in a situation for you to actually see what you thought you was. That's not what you was. This is what you are. He letting you know, I'm showing you what I see. Obviously, you can't see it. So I'm going to put you in a situation where that reflection can come back so you can see it. Hold on. 2 Peter chapter 1. We'll come back to John chapter 5. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, that's what the word is actually supposed to do. Then we can read that in James chapter 1 as well. Because I'm telling you, man, that be the harder pill for people to swallow. A lot of times you don't want to see all them warts and boogers you got in your face. You don't want to see yourself like that. And you know why you don't want to see yourself like that? 2 Peter chapter 1 about verse 4. You don't want to see yourself like that because this society has taught people not to be real with themselves. You know what I'm saying? You have a sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? And then you mess around and you know what I'm saying? They give people inflated self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? And people tell you this and you tell you that. And then you know what ends up happening? You go believe in your own hype. See, back in the day, you know, Public Enemy had a song, you know, don't believe the hype, all that type of stuff. You end up believing your own hype. Then when actually somebody come and try to tell you, like, this is actually what you doing. Because you got so many people that hyped you up. You don't actually want to hear that. So you know what the Lord has to do? The Lord has to not only use the word as a mirror to show you, this is you. You know what I'm saying? But he'll actually put you in situations in your life where you can see, this is you. See, a lot of times y'all was in those situations and circumstances probably before the word, but you just didn't want to actually believe that that could be you. You know what I'm saying? Because you had too many people telling you you were this or you were that. And the only reason why the people were telling you this is because you had something that they wanted. You know what I'm saying? They were deriving some manner of benefit from you. Any of y'all can actually acknowledge that you know the people wasn't being 100 with you because they were getting something out of you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you something. When you got friends that ain't getting nothing out of you, or you might have been doing something for them, but they would still tell you the truth with no cares if you stop doing it. See, that's somebody that actually care about you. You know what I'm saying? Because they be like, they say, well, this nigga give me a ride to work, or this, that, and the other. But that nigga be stank. I'm finna tell you. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got some people, they'll sit there and be like, do I stink? No, you smell great. Because they don't want to lose that ride. Then you got some people like, nigga, you smell like a bowl of onions and doodle. How dare you say that to... You know what I'm saying? How dare you say that to me in my car? I don't stink. Nigga, you the one asked. That truth can be a hard pill to swallow now. Verse 4 of 2 Peter chapter 1. Make it 3. According as his divine power has given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that called us to glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, by those that you might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. Besides all this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to your virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahshua the Messiah. But he that lacked these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and have forgotten that he were purged from his old sin. See, this man just sat back and said, when you add these things to your faith, the knowledge of God, being pure by God's word, having self-control, having patience, having brotherly kindness, having godliness, you know what ends up happening? Romans chapter 7 what ends up happening. Let me show you this here. Romans chapter 7 is what ends up happening. See, because then you'll sit back and look at it. The Lord but through his labor, he delivering you from the state that you was in. Because if you look at you impotent, that means you're disabled. You know what I'm saying? When we sit back and we look at it, the way we were going before the word, we were impotent, we were disabled, we were broke down. You know what I'm saying? We were sitting back looking at, we need somebody to put us down in the water. I need some help. So now he done came and worked such a great deliverance. He's sitting here telling you, man, go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come on you. Let me see what I want in Romans chapter 7. Romans 7 and 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner conspicuous, for without the law sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. So what Paul's in here telling you, I wouldn't have known I was wrong unless the word showed me who I was. It showed me I was lustful. You know what I'm saying? He said, without it, I was good. I didn't know what I was. But when the mirror was shown to me what I wore, then I knew. You know what I'm saying? So now that's able for me to allow me to see what I am to be able to correct. I'm talking about the Lord, like this here, man, in the book of Job, he says, who teacheth like thee? So you see, sometimes y'all sit back and look at, okay, the word can show you frameworks and stuff. Then this man will actually put you in real life situations for you to learn something. So you can see something. A lot of times he just try to go to show you. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times I've been done some of the stuff y'all be doing. Nigga could have been already told y'all that, but y'all don't believe it. And the only reason why sometimes you don't want to believe it because you don't actually look at yourself that way and want to view yourself in a negative manner. Because you really worried about somebody viewing in a negative manner as forth as somebody with a pointer pointing out the negative things that you may be doing, and so you can correct them. You know what I'm talking about? You sit back looking at, I don't know why you keep saying that about me. I don't do this, I don't do that. And you'll never take a damn time. If I said it, that means you're doing it. I just wouldn't throw that out there because I felt like throwing it out there. I was like that before the word. Why would I say somebody doing something that they wasn't doing it? Why would somebody say you got a nasty disposition and you don't have one? What is the point? What's the benefit or profit you going to get out of that other than letting you know, nigga, you got a nasty disposition? You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it be hard to swallow. You know what's wrong with some of y'all live? Y'all don't consider the source. And when I'm saying that, I'm not just saying that because I preach the word. Like, y'all don't consider the source. Don't you know if you close with somebody and somebody tell you something that you might pause and weigh their opinion because you considering the source? You know what I'm saying? Like coming up, man, I had homeboys. If my homeboy pulled me to the side and said something, I'm going to consider what they saying because I'm looking at the source. This is somebody who I know love me. You know what I'm saying? This somebody I know just ain't going to say something just because he want to say something to cause me to get upset. See, a lot of y'all don't have that mind frame because y'all never had nobody tell y'all nothing before. So you automatically get on the defensive. Well, a lot of times niggas just sitting here telling you, man, it ain't just me. A lot of times people be telling you stuff because they care. But you niggas want to put your fists up. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all don't consider the source. Why this person telling you that? You think they telling you that to nitpick at you? Or to mess with you? They telling you, they calling it like they see it. You can take, you know what I'm saying? You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can feel like it ain't going to change. Don't y'all realize, man, I can tell you something, you don't think I care about you getting mad. It don't change the fact, nigga, that's what it is. Like, I'm not backing up off that. I guarantee you, it's some of y'all done told each other stuff in between each other, and you knew what they were telling you were right, but you just didn't want to hear it because your mind was bouncing around thinking about other stuff. Nigga just telling you what the lick read. Take how you want to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like you nigga care because you didn't like what I just had to say. You know what I'm saying? I done had homeboy, they tell nigga your breath stink, nigga. Nigga do something. That was a dumb move on your part. I'm sitting there telling you, man. My homeboy, I'm telling you, when I first got out of prison, man, all I would think about, man, I need to go to school. I tried that move with that bank card. I told y'all that before, nigga. My homeboy smiled. Fat boy said, boy, don't do that. I considered what they were saying. I ain't say they were wrong. Nigga just sit back, man, I need to make this happen. Don't you think when the nigga came back, nigga, I told you what, like, nigga, I ain't said, nigga, I ain't want to hear that. I ain't even get mad with them when they said don't do it. Because I know they telling me not to do it for no other reason, because, boss, don't do that, man. I don't think that's going to work out well for you. I don't want nothing to happen to you. You think I got mad with him? I said, I'm going to do it anyway. But I know what you're talking about. I'm going to try to make sure I cover myself. But I know why you said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I ain't getting mad. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga tell you something, hey, man, that ain't no smart move. Any other time, I'm going to tell you, but don't do that right there. That ain't no smart move. I be like, why you feel that way? Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to weigh that out. My homeboy done tell me, don't make that move, man. I don't think that's a good look for you. I don't think that's going to work out well in your favor. See, the reason why some of y'all don't sit back and consider none of that stuff because you stubborn. You know what I'm saying? You just got a whole mind frame of, I know what I'm doing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't know, just because I preach the word don't mean I'm the only person that could give you some sound counsel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had to sit back and look at, y'all can talk to each other, man. One of y'all might tell each other something that bad. Hey, man, that makes sense. I hope to listen to that. We just talked about this on Wednesday about you ought to love one another. So if you sit back and you say you love each other and you family and this, that, that, and the other, then you might want to weigh out what the other person say to you and take it into consideration instead of jumping up like boom, boom, boom. Sit there and say, why would my brothers tell me that? Why would my sister tell me that? At least pause and weigh it before you instantly go. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of people get messed up at because they don't weigh stuff out when they hear it. You know what I'm saying? They don't go mode. Go mode. You know, we're not going to read James chapter 1. You know, but in James chapter 1, you know, he made a statement. he stated that when you are a hearer of the word and not a doer, you like a man beholding his face in natural glass, and straightway forgot what manner of man that you were. You know what I'm saying? See, so you know what Ezra had and why the Lord will put you in situations so you can see yourself for what you really is, because you done forgot what manner of man that you were. You know what I'm saying? You done forgot. So you know what he got to do? I got to show you. I got to show you. I tried to show you with my word. I tried to tell you through my servant. So now I'm going to put you in a natural situation. I'm going to have no choice but to show you. It don't have to necessarily always be from another human being that possess your character traits. You know what I'm talking about? It could just be a whole situation. He'll put you in a situation where you cause yourself to react in a particular way, and then you sit back and, is that really me? Somebody been there mess around and recorded you or something. You know how a lot of people, they put them on them talk shows, that's what they be more embarrassed about than anything. That somebody recorded them and they actually got to see their behavior on tape. And they looked at themselves and said, that was me? See, that's why I be telling y'all. I tell my old lady that all the time. Like, she'll be like, your voice be going up. You don't think it's not. But if a nigga recorded it and played it back to you, you would be astonished. You know what I'm saying? You would be astonished. Like, yeah, that's you. That's you. How many of y'all done been like somebody telling you were doing something and you just didn't believe that was you? You know what I'm saying? But if a nigga put you on camera, put you on tape and showed it to you, you would be ashamed of yourself. Because you would actually, it's one thing you see it in another person, another thing when you look at you doing it. Like, that was me? That was me? Imagine if imagine if the Lord was able to just hand me a video recorder and say, you know what, run this tape back on them so they could see everything they've done in their life from the time they were born up until their very point. How would y'all feel after watching that video? You know what I'm saying? How would y'all feel after watching that video to sit back and see yourself and see your behavior? See, I thank the Lord, man, especially being in prison. And plus, I'm a loner anyway. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, I used to just sit back and recycle stuff in my life, especially in prison, man. You'll recycle something in your mind over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You be like, you dumb idiot. You know what I'm saying? Then sit back and think on times you done snapped on people you ain't had no business snapping on them. You know what I'm saying? Might have did somebody dirty, should have did that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, man. Y'all don't sit back and look at that, man. That, you know what I'm saying? Don't mean you dwell in things you done did in the past. A lot of y'all ain't even 100 enough to even be honest about stuff you done. You know what I'm saying? Because you so worried about how somebody gonna look at. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There's not a single solitary sin. There's not a single solitary act that any of y'all have done in your lifetime that there's not another human being on this earth that has not done the same. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? If you was a male hoe, there was a man here who was just a bigger hoe, if not bigger. If you was a female hoe, there was a woman here who was a bigger whore or equal. If you was a thief, there was niggas who was stealing. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm just using general stuff. If you was a liar, there was a nigga who lied right along with you. But there might have been specific acts you nigga done did. Come on, man. Just like they getting that UFC fighter for hit and running. He ain't the first nigga to hit somebody's car and run. You know what I'm saying? He ain't the first nigga to do it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I used to scam and hit all my jobs across the head. You think I'm the first nigga ever did that? Ain't nothing any one of y'all have done in your lifetime that there's not another person on this earth that hadn't done. And the key thing with y'all forgetting that you can keep it back from us, you can't keep it back from God. He know everything you done did. He know every word, whether it be good or whether it be evil. He know all of it. And y'all don't sit back and look at, if God know what you did, what you care about a man knowing about it for? Man, I used to tell these niggas this all the time before we come back to this John chapter 5. I used to tell these niggas this all the time. I'd be like, nigga, my mama know I smoke weed. What I care about and one of you niggas knowing? You know what I'm saying? For real, that was used to be my statement. I'll be like, man, nigga, you like this here, nigga? Like you tell people you smoke weed. Nigga, I don't care if they know I smoke weed. Nigga, my mama know. So if you sit back looking at the God of heaven and earth, know every single solitary thing that you've ever done, why you care about another human being knowing about the human being ain't the one that can judge you. Nigga, if that stuff in the past and you seeking to become a new creature in the Lord and old things have passed away, what you care about them knowing about it for? I don't do it no more. Nigga, if you used to steal, what you care for, I don't steal no more. What you care about somebody knowing you was deceitful and rotten and a shyster and all and I don't do that stuff no more. It don't matter. It's in the past. If you really done stop doing it. I used to be a hypocrite. I ain't a hypocrite no more. But if you ain't stopped doing stuff, then of course you don't want nobody to know you still doing it. Come on back to John chapter 5. Verse 15. We got to roll. It's already 10 o'clock. The man departed and told the Jews that it was Yahshua which made him whole. And therefore did the Jews persecute Yahshua and sought to slay him because he done these things on the Sabbath day. But Yahshua answered them, my Father worked hitherto and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. And then answered Yahshua and said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he see the Father do. For what things soever he do, these also do the Son likewise. For the Father loved the Son, and show him all things that himself do. And he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. Ain't that what he just said? Will I not hold back from Abraham the things that I do? John chapter 18. You ain't no good in here nowhere. Y'all see how they go together? He clearly said, shall I hide from Abraham the thing which I do? Did he hide? And then Yahshua just come back and say, my Father don't hide nothing from me what he do. Ain't that something? Make even more sense why the Lord would make that statement in. Because the key verse in verse 18, he says, surely he'll become a great and mighty nation, and nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. He say, he showed me greater works than these, that you might be amazed. Well, how else was he able to become a great and mighty nation? How were all the nations in the earth able to be blessed in him? What was this great work that these men saw that would cause them to be amazed? So nobody knows what that great work was. But let's look at 2 Corinthians chapter 4. He said that this man would become a great and mighty nation, and everybody would be blessed in him. After that, I suppose I'll look in Galatians chapter 3. But 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Verse 7. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body of the dying of the Lord Yahshua, that the life also of Yahshua might be made manifest in our body. For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahshua's sake, that the life also of Yahshua might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. So then death work in us, but life in you. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believe, therefore I have spoken. We also believe and therefore speak, knowing that he which raised up the Lord Yahshua shall raise up also by Yahshua, and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sake, that the abundant grace might through thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of God. I want you to look at verse 18 and specific. Make it 17. Just want you to listen to what he say. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, work for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Did Abraham see that great and mighty nation that he became? Did he see that blessing in all nations? He didn't see that. Nor did Abraham look to that, did he? Because in Genesis 26, he said clearly, he said, I'm going to bring upon you everything I promised to Abraham because he kept my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. So because of this man actually believing in the promise and the oath that Yah made to him, that tended unto life because that set forth a covenant to be established at a later time, didn't it? And because that covenant was established with another people, it set in process, with his progeny, that set in process of this covenant having to be renewed so he could become that great and mighty nation, to have that mighty offspring. You know what I'm saying? Because we the offspring of the Lord, ain't it? Let's look at Acts chapter 14 and let's sit back. Is it Acts 17 that I desire? Let's see if that's Acts 17 that I desire. Acts chapter 17, verse 29. Forasmuch then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone or graven by art and man's device. In the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now command all men everywhere to repent, because he hath appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained, whereof he hath gave assurance unto all men, and that he raised him from the dead. Now us being his offspring would mean he would be that great and mighty nation. You know what that blessing was. But if you don't know, I guess we got to read it. Who know what that blessing was? Let's look at Galatians chapter 3, if you didn't know. Galatians chapter 3. What verse will we like here? Verse 18 is good. Make it 16. Y'all cool? You everybody all right? We're going to try to work around and get to the whole crux and the root of the matter. A couple things came to my mind this week. I got to show you one thing came to my mind yesterday afternoon. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to that seed, which is the Messiah. Because he said he become a great and mighty nation, right? You know what I'm saying? It's ain't but one seed. Ain't but one seed. Ain't no seeds. You're going to have to become a son of God. You're going to have to be born of the exalted. Because remember, Abraham means exalted father. And what did Isaiah chapter 9 say about what one of the things the Lord would be called? He would be called an everlasting Father. Everlasting Father. Everlasting Father. And you see how this all go right back. It all come back in together now. He that is born of God, right? Making Yahshua your father. You know what I'm saying? Because he'll be male and female. And then if we... Oh, hold on now. Hold on. I done said something like this here. I got to go and look at it now. Let's go look at Genesis chapter 1. I done said it so you get some understanding. Because the labor the labor of the righteous tend to life. The labor of the righteous tend to life. Now let's look at Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 now. We're just gonna work it all the way down. This stuff y'all already know. Just gonna look at it. We're gonna just work it down. 1 and 27, pardon me. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he him, male and female created he them, right? So when we come back and look at Genesis chapter 5 now, we'll read verse 1. Probably should have just went there because we're being redundant. This is the book of the generations of Adam. And the day that God created man in the likeness of God made he him. When was the day that God created man in the likeness of God created him? When was that day? No, sit back and think about it. Sit back and think about it. It's saying that he said that the generations of Adam, the day that God created man in the likeness of God made he him. Sit and think about it. All right, I'm going to show y'all in a minute. And male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day that they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth, right? So he said his son, the father begat a son, and his son was just like him. And the day that God created man, right? In the image of God created he him, right? So now let's go to Colossians chapter 1, verse 15. Little guy moving around in him. He's ready to go in. He said, I'm tired of sitting in here, this little sack here. Ready to come out here. I want to ask, let me ask you this question. Do babies poop in the womb? Wowzers. Wowzers. Did not know that.
Not until they get this size.
No, not until they hit full term. Did not know babies pooped in the womb. Wow. I definitely won't be in the room. It's all manner of pooping here.
No, it gets filtered out.
Doesn't matter. It's pooping there. It's pooping there. 1 and 15, Colossians. Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature? What was Adam? What was Adam? The firstborn of every creature, right? So when he said in the image of God created he him, how did that relate to the Lord then? We're gonna read it. For by him were all things created that are in heaven, that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. He is before all things, and by him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, the synagogue, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence. For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell. So now he the firstborn from the dead. So that's how Adam was created. The image of God created he him the day he created man. When did he create man? He created man on the third day. The third day from raising from the dead. That's when Yahshua was created. What did Romans 1 and 4 tell you? He was declared to be the Son of God with what? With power. By the Spirit of Kodesh and the resurrection of the dead. So if he was raised in the dead, he was raised just like his daddy, wasn't it? Don't Matthew chapter 28 now. Because he done rolled from the dead at this point. We still holding John, we ain't holding John chapter 5 no more. We ain't holding John chapter 5 no more. We'll get back to Genesis 18 though. I had some stuff in mind in the other couple places. We probably not going to get there. Matthew 28 and 18. Listen what it say. I'll make it 16. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee into a mountain where Yahshua had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Yahshua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Who else got power in heaven and earth? Didn't Yahshua tell you to pray, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven? We done looked over everything so many times about, look at the power Yahshua had on earth. He had power to heal. He told them, he said, I got power to forgive sin. He said that you may know. Come on now. We're going to sit back and look at this now. The work of the righteous tend unto life. Come on over here to the book of John. I think that's what I want. Let me make sure that's what I want. It could be the book of Luke. Y'all bear with me for a moment. I don't want Luke chapter 7. Luke chapter 5 and verse 18. 17. Remember I said the labor of the righteous tend unto life. You just sitting back and looking at it. That labor that Seth brought forth, he brought forth a son, which was a genealogy of the sons of God. Remember, we went through this here where nobody should be able to come to none of y'all and tell you that the sons of God in Genesis chapter 6 is some doggone, it's some angels. Because y'all been taught that, you've been shown that. Because it just sat back and showed you, you know Adam was God. He begat a son in his exact image and likeness, which would make him the son of God. The reason why brothers don't know that is because they don't know Adam was God. Because guess what? You look at Adam, he had power in all heaven and all the earth, didn't he? We didn't read Genesis. He had all dominion. We didn't read it in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, but he had dominion and power over everything. He said over the fowls of the air. Ain't they in the heavens? He had power over everything in heaven and earth. It says, and it came to pass on a certain day as he was teaching, that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which would come out of every town of Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was present to heal them. And behold, a man brought in a bed, a man which was taken with the palsy, and they sought means to bring him in and lay him before him. And when they could not find by what way they may bring him in because of the multitude, they went upon the housetop and let him down through the talon with his couch into the midst before Yahshua. And when he saw their faith, he said unto them, Man, thy sins are forgiven thee. And the scribes and Pharisees began to reason, saying, Who is this which speak blasphemies, who can forgive sins but God only? When Yahshua perceived their thoughts, he answered and said unto them, What reason in your hearts, whether is it easier to say thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say rise up and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man hath power upon earth to forgive sin, he said unto the sick of the palsy, hold on, because Tony just inboxed me, that messed me all up. Sick of the palsy, I said unto thee, arise and take up thy couch and go into thine house. So you just sat back and told, I got power. So you sit back and look at it. Don't you know to forgive sin, that's power, that's going to tend unto life? Because where sin is removed, everlasting life can abide. You know, Paul wrote to us in the letter to the Corinthians in the second Corinthians in the third chapter of that epistle, about the 17th verse, that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to get that freedom is because the Lord had to come to work, that he worked the work that he came to work. Now let's look at Romans chapter 8, because we're dealing with something about being made like your father, because it says Seth was in the exact image. Knowing, who remembers what Seth's name means? Who remember what Seth's name means? Seth say, Tony say he just arrived in Colombia. You know, Seth's name means God has given me another seed. A transformation or a change. You know what I'm saying? He gave him a son that was in his express image in person. Romans 8, about 28 is that one? And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to a purpose. For him he did foreknow, but he also did predestinate, to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn amongst many brethren. Because at the same time, you know, a lot of Israelites will scream, you know, Christ our big brother, stuff like that there. Which, you know what I'm saying? He is our brother at the same time, but he's also our father at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That's how he become a great and mighty nation. Because he was able to have seed generate out from him. Back to Galatians chapter 3. That's why he didn't say seeds of many, but seeds of one, that seed being Hamashiach. You understand what I'm telling you? Which would make him a great and mighty nation, right? So him raising from the dead, that's how all the nations of the earth were blessed, because he came and he died. That was able to gender unto life, that we might be able to get eternal life. Y'all didn't even catch when we were reading about in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 what Paul was talking about. About we despair, you know what I'm saying? But death work in us, that life might work in you. These were righteous men working the works of God so it could tend unto life for others. You know what I'm saying? You ain't sitting back looking at a preacher's job is to be able to show forth the word of life that you might get what? And that's what Yahshua did. Yahshua did both of those things, didn't he? Not only with his actions of healing people, you know, he rose from the dead. That means that work of raising people from the dead. What is that? That's tending unto life. Remember we just read on Wednesday he was casting out devils, and they say, what? You cast out devils by Beelzebub. You know what I'm saying? But to cast out that devil tended unto life. This was this righteous man labor. But he said the fruit of the wicked is sin. When you sit back and look at, he's speaking blasphemy. They were blaspheming. These people turned around and said, you cast out demons by Beelzebub. You blaspheme. When you sit back and look at it, because he say the labor of the righteous tend unto life, that means the fruit of his labor is everlasting life. So you know what the fruit of a sinner going to be, which go right back to what I just read y'all in Galatians chapter 6 not too long ago. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. He that soweth to the Spirit shall reap to the Spirit life everlasting. He that soweth to the flesh shall reap to the flesh destruction. So you know what that's telling you? The labor of the righteous tend unto life, don't it? Fruit of the wicked is sin. Ain't that amazing what we can line this? But Paul was a false prophet, though. You know what I'm saying? But Paul was a man pleaser. But Paul was a false apostle. I'm just throwing out stuff I done heard people say before. Paul wrote his own opinion. You know what I'm saying? Just get your skill level up. Or find you somebody whose skill level's up. That's all you got to do. Verse 16. The problem is a lot of people's skill levels down. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is the Messiah. Because every time he talked about a seed, it was always Abraham's seed, wasn't it? Seed, one. You never really sat back and heard Jacob telling Jacob your seed, or Isaac your seed. Because every time he spoke to them, he always took them back to their fathers before. He told them, I'm the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, your fathers. You know what I'm saying? Always did that. Even when we read him talking to Hezekiah, he said, I'm the God of David, thy father. Because of that seed who he said I would have sit on the throne. Because I ain't promised nobody else to have no king sit on the throne. Just one man's seed. Not seeds of many. I promised that to one man. You know what I'm saying? I promised it to one man, that's Abraham. That's why you always see Abraham keep coming back up. That's why we went and looked in James chapter 2. Abraham wasn't justified in the fact that he believed. He put some work to it. So because he put some work to it, that labor tended unto righteousness. Because we're really the righteous, the labor of the righteous tend unto life. Because Abraham was already gendered to be righteous just on the fact he believed. Then he put the work in behind it. You know the son already believed before he even came. He said, who we going to send? He lifted up his hand and said, send me. I'll go. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of God in the Messiah, the law which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect. You see that the covenant which was confirmed before of God in the Messiah, he was slain from the foundation of the world. So when you see the covenant that he was making with Abraham, man, I already had confirmed that in my son before I even son it. Woo-woo. And you got a nigga talking about this man didn't exist before he came in the flesh. But this man just sat back and told you this covenant was confirmed in the man before he came. How can the covenant of Abraham be confirmed in the Hamashiach and he hadn't even came yet? Is that not what he just said? But from what we just looked at in Genesis 18 and line it up with John chapter 5 and a couple other places, that's pretty clear for us now. I would hope so. I hear a lot of silence. It might not be clear for somebody then. Listen what he say, for if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of the promise, but God gave it to Abraham by promise. Wherefore then served the law, it was added because of transgressions. Till the seed should come to whom the promise was made, it was ordained by angels in the hand of a mediator. It said until the seed should come to who the promise was made. The promise wasn't made to y'all, it was made to the son. Because remember, he said not seeds of many, but seeds of one. That seed being the Messiah. The promise was made to the son. So guess what? I promised my son, and what did he come and do? John chapter 10, about verse 17. Let's just see. This will make the statement the Lord made even stronger. Is everybody okay? John 10 and 17. Make it 14. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father know me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring. They shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I may take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. So when did he get it? Did he get it when he was born? When did he come tell this man what was going to happen to him? I mean, he had to tell him before he even came. This man had to have his mission statement and his orders before he even came. That's common sense. How can he know I got to die and he telling these people I know all this book, I got to do all this stuff, and he didn't know it before he got here? The only person ain't going to believe that is a pure blithering idiot. You can't go fulfill a mission without getting a mission statement first. How you going to get it? We done dealt with this before. You can go look it up. Train up a child in the way that he should go, he should not depart. Well, it's on one of the channels. I think it's the one with my name on it. We went through that. He taught him exactly what to do, and he went and did it. He showed him exactly what to do. People don't sit back and realize this whole book was a blueprint of exactly what that man was going to come do. No deviation. None. But you know where that promise came from? Son. Hold on. 2 Corinthians chapter 8. 2 Corinthians chapter 8. I'm going to show you where that promise came from now. Sit back and look what the Father promised him now. 2 Corinthians chapter 8. Verse 9. That's all we want. 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. Oh, okay, we good. It's 10:30. We good. For ye know the grace of our Lord Yahshua HaMashiach, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might be rich. So you know what that means. His daddy told him, son, I need you to give up everything you got. And if you give up everything you got, I'm going to give it back to you. He said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's look at John 17 and 1 and let's see if that's the case. After that, Hebrews 1 and 1. That's bad. That's bad for business. People don't even know they God. Well, we already know. We'll read Romans 5 since you said who's willing to do it. We read it Wednesday. We'll read it again. John 17 and 1. Hold on. Call it up. It's periodic type of thing. You all right over there? You just rolling. That's how I know it's getting ready. You don't do that type of stuff. From the previous time, I know you doing all that. That boy finna get ready to drop.
Well, they don't poop out of it, but
What they poop out?
it gets filtered from the liver through
The umbilical cord.
Yeah. You won't poop out of your butt till it comes out.
Still poop.
But it's really gross.
Still poop.
It's actually black.
All right, y'all. It's bad for business when you don't know your God. It's bad for business when you get the opportunity to know your God and you still sitting there stupid. John 17 and 1. These words spake Yahshua and lift up his eyes to heaven, saying, and said, Father, the hour is come. Glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee. As thou hast given him power over all flesh, just like Adam, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. Listen to what he said. And this is life eternal, that they may know thee, the only true God, and Yahshua HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gave me to do. I finished the work which you gave me to do. Well, let's look at one of the works that he gave him to do before we even read Hebrews 1 and 1 and Romans chapter 5 about birth form. Well, let's look at some of the works that he gave him to do. Let's look at John chapter 13. Matter of fact, Luke chapter 13 and verse 29. Make it 31. Luke 13 and 31. And it says, the same day there came out certain of the Pharisees, saying unto him, Get thee out and depart from hence, for Herod will kill thee. And he said unto them, Go ye and tell that fox, Behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfected. Nevertheless, I must walk today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet perish out of Jerusalem. You know what he telling this man? He got to get out there and walk. I got work to do. Who remembers why he had to walk? Because Abraham walked through the land. That was the work he had to do, right? I told you to go do this here. He said, you walk through this land, I'm going to get it. But then what else was he doing while he was walking? Well, let's go look in Psalm chapter 40, and we'll see what it was he was doing while he was walking. After that, we'll come back round about John chapter 4. I don't know who this is texting me, inboxing me. 40 and 7, make it 6. Make it 5. Psalm 40 and 5. Somebody asking, do we preach on the Sabbath? I don't know who that is. I heard the person, they say that New You got at me go the other day. They talking about they couldn't come with her because they needed to be joined to a congregation where we were hiring each other. He said he was led by the Father not to join the congregation that do work in the world, whatever that means. I could tell. I could tell. I could tell. Yeah, I mean, I never had nobody tell me that before. He said, do y'all have any job openings there? I said, yeah, my brother-in-law posted him as he seen him. He said, oh, I've been led of the Father not to take jobs outside of the congregation. I said, man, I guess what he was looking for was a communal congregation like in Acts chapter 2. Man, them people wasn't living like, they was all in the same city. They just was one unit. It's not everybody lived on one piece of land and we just all living in a community together. That's not what that was. Yeah, I seen that in the course of the discourse, because they were talking about the congregation in Tennessee, which I don't know nothing about. I actually seen. I ain't had no job to offer him. You know what I'm saying? But that's true indeed. I ain't turning down no cash now. Somebody tell me, hey, I hire you right now, and I ain't got to break no Sabbath. Shoot, well, what you talking about then? You know what I'm saying? Unless it's just something as a Jew I'm not going to do because I'm a Jew. You know what I'm talking about? Other than that, what's happening then? But it did trip me out because they say they don't believe that anybody is a true man of God unless they casting out devils and speaking in tongues and healing the sick. And I find that real funny because those were signs that were following the men that Yahshua sent directly. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, the 12 who he taught and who he appealed to in Paul. And Paul plainly told us in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, do all speak in tongues? Do all do work miracles? Do all have the gift of healing? That don't mean you don't have the Spirit because you ain't speaking in tongues. He said, I give severally gifts to each man. He give gifts to each man as he see fit. That's what the word say clear as day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't cast out devils. Everybody can't speak in tongues. Everybody can't be an apostle. Everybody can't be a prophet. Everybody can't have the gift of miracle. Everybody can't have the gift of government. I got to give him this here. I got to give him that there. That's the same way, man, we might harp on and like this here, but it's real talk. You know, Paul said the same thing what Peter actually did. He said, let a man minister according to the ability that God gave him. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to look at, you can sit back, I'm telling y'all something, man, it don't make no difference. You can see one man and you be like, boy, that nigga is the nicest I ever seen. And you might see somebody else. He might be able to do something, He just might can't do it on the ability of that individual. That don't make what he preaching not truth nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? God gave this man a certain ability. He gave this man a certain ability. You know what I'm talking about? He gave this man a certain ability. Y'all know that just with natural things, with talent. Everybody can't do the same things. That's common sense. Psalms 45. Many, O Yah, my God, are thy wonderful works. Many, which thou hast done. And thy thoughts which are to us ward, they cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering thou did not desire. My ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. Do you hear this man that say? Now, how would this man know sacrifice and offering what he ain't want that? Ain't want no burnt offering. But you see the key thing he said? You open my ear. Then he say, I'm in the volume of the book. It's written of me. So that man sat back and say, son, remember we already read it. He said, will I hide from Abraham the things that I do? He said, everything the Father do, he showed the Son likewise. And he said, greater works than these he was showing that you might be amazed. Did we not sit back? How many times we just sat back and look at when they came to that grave and that man was gone? Them people were amazed. When the people sat back and seen this man open the eyes of the blind, those people were amazed. When he rose Lazarus from the dead, when he healed that young girl and raised her from the dead, these people were amazed. They said, one part they said, we done seen some strange things today. Strange just meaning odd. I don't see this every day. Now, let's be honest. If the Lord gave me the ability to raise people from the dead, and somebody fell out dead in the middle of the road, and I came up to them and I say, by the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, get up. And that nigga, and everybody can see this nigga is dead. And he gets up alive based on me saying this man's name because the Lord has given me this power. Do you not think these people are going to be amazed? Do you not think if there was a blind man sitting somewhere and I just sat back and say, did just like the Lord did, got some dirt, spit on it, put it on his eyes, and his eye open, and he'd be like, I can see now. And the people in there who knew he was blind, like in John chapter 9, say, that nigga was blind. He said, nigga, I see you, nigga, you got on a purple shirt, brown slacks. They gonna be amazed. You know what I'm saying? Somebody a paraplegic in a wheelchair, and you just like he said with the impotent man, he said, by the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, get up and walk. And they jump up out that wheelchair like this here. Huh? People gonna be amazed. And what's the thing they gonna say? Well, we seen some strange things. We seen an odd thing today. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. You know what I'm saying? People act like, oh, we cast out devils. We healed the sick. You ain't healed nobody. God healed them, nigga. Verse 9, though. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Yah, thou know. I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. I have declared thy faithfulness and thy salvation. I have not concealed thy loving kindness and thy truth from the great congregation. Then Yahshua say, Father, I gave him thy word. Then we read on Wednesday in John chapter 15, this man say, everything that I know, I showed it to you. He said, I ain't keep nothing back. Let's look at somebody else who did that, who labored tended under life in Acts chapter 20. Let's see if Paul did something like that. Let's just see if Paul was a righteous man who labored tended under life. Let's just see if Paul preached righteousness in a great congregation. Let's see if he refrained his lips and kept anything back. Acts chapter 20, verse 26, 25. Acts 20 and 25. I'm feeling good this evening. Y'all all right? All righty then. And now behold, I know that ye all among whom I've gone preaching the kingdom of God shall see my face no more. Wherefore, I take you to record this day that I'm pure from the blood of all men. For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of God. Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over which the Ruach HaKodesh hath made you overseers, to feed the house of God, which he hath purchased with his own blood. That man said, I ain't kept nothing back. I spoke that mercy in the great congregation. And you know what, sit back, we didn't read it in the verse after that. He said, don't withhold your tender mercies from me because I've done this. You know what I'm saying? Now you sitting back and you looking at Yahshua in Matthew and in Mark and in Luke and all these places. What was he doing? He was praying that you could let this cup pass. But he also knew the Father would raise him again, right? He know because I've done everything you sent me to do. That means everything he sent him to do was what? You got to fulfill the book. That means you got to go through here and you got to preach the word in all these cities. You got to walk the land to get the inheritance like Abraham. You got to offer yourself up. You got to raise the dead like I told, like Elijah did, like Elisha did. You're going to have to be captured and locked up like Jeremiah. You're going to have to put the purple robe on like Mordecai. You're going to have to be envied by your own brothers like Joseph. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to have to be like Adam. You're going to have to be like Samson and be betrayed by someone close to you for some money. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to carry a beam on your shoulder like I told Ezekiel. You're going to have to carry a burden on your shoulder. Or like I told you in Genesis 49. Or like I showed you with Samson. Gentiles going to have to snatch you. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to have to be a ruler like Nehemiah and rebuild the house and not come down from the work. You're going to have to be like Job and be a man afflicted and suffer and take loss to get everything. Y'all don't even sit back and look at that. Yahshua took loss. He said by his poverty you were made rich because you seen Job was made poor. Then at the end, he was richer than what he was before he started. So you know what ended up happening? With Job? Father, give me the glory that I had with you before the world war. That's what happened with Job. He ended up giving Job right back what he started with. Oh, man. Why they don't know that, though? Why they can't see that, though? Is that not what happened with Job? He had a lot. He lost it all. He got it back because he was obedient. Wow. Wow. Ain't that something? You sit back and look at it. He had to fulfill everything David did. Had to fulfill everything Solomon did. You know what I'm talking about? He got to fulfill all of this. He got to fulfill Moses. He got a lot of work to do. He had a lot of work to do. I'm trying to think of something because I'm forgetting somebody. He had to be Zerubbabel. He had to be Joshua the high priest. He had to be Joshua son of Nun. He had to be the Ark of the Covenant. He had to be the house. He had to be Tamar in Genesis. You know what I'm saying? He had to be the widow woman in 2 Samuel 14. He had to be Eve. He had to be Adam. He had to be Seth. He had to be Cain. He had to be Abel. He had to be Noah. He had to be Absalom. He had to be Amasa. He had to be Abner. All of them. He had to do all their work. I got to be the Passover lamb. I got to be the sin for atonement. For the sin out of ignorance. I got to be the scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? I got to be the drink offering. I got to be the meat offering. They got to put linen on me. They got to put linen on me because I'm the high priest because I got to be Aaron too. You know what I'm saying? Woo woo. All this here. All these many wonderful works which we know already in John. It said if we were to name all the works which this man did, the earth would not even be able to contain it. And all this work he did to gender under one thing, which is what? Eternal life. This was his word. Now we sitting back looking at, if we sit back and we follow the pattern of their work, 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 14. I know it was something we hold. It'll come by the mind. It's two things I want to show y'all before we depart. I know because we started a little late, I ain't going to go as long. We're going to start, Lord will, start maximizing time. Start doing it like we used to do back in the day. Jam a whole bunch in a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all don't know nothing about that because y'all wasn't around in those times. Lil Muffin know. Some of them videos y'all sit back and you look on that Jesus for True Freedom, you like, man, they short. Well, there's a whole lot of stuff was in them short things too, wasn't it? Whole lot of stuff. The longest one is that wilderness thing. That thing was 3 hours. That was a long one. It didn't seem like it did. Lil Muffin say it didn't seem like 3 hours, but that thing was 3 hours. The only reason why I know it's 3 hours because looking at the tape, it's got the time on it. It's 3 hours. All you gotta do is go Jesus for True Freedom. I got a Los Angeles Clippers shirt on. I can't remember the name. I think it's learning from the errors of our forefathers in the wilderness. But I remember that day. I had a Clipper shirt on. I don't have that shirt anymore. I remember that shirt because I told Nell specifically to order me one specific shirt. And she decided to order that one because it was $3 to $4 cheaper. And I said, that is not the shirt that I instructed you to purchase. I can't even say that because that's just my Nell. What's she going to do? She cheat. You know what I'm saying? That's what she do. I couldn't even say that. When she looked at it, I said, this is not... Go ahead. Yeah, I already knew that because I said, I told you to get the Adidas shirt. She said, but the Adidas shirt was $15. I don't even know what company that shirt was. She said, but this one was $10. I said, but I gave you the $15. You weren't paying for it. I was paying for it. Nigga gave me my change back and all, too. Nigga gave me my change and all. I said, what am I going to say about that? That made me think about when my cousin, when I got out of prison, I said, hey, I want these Jordan 23 and I want this authentic Brandon Roy Portland Trailblazer jersey. That's what I want to leave prison in. My cousin called me back. She said, I'm going to tell you something. Well, she didn't call me back. She said, I'm going to let you know something. I ain't buying them shoes. They cost too much. I say, that's my money, though. I ain't buying. She said, I ain't buying. I said, but it's my money, though. I ain't buying. I said, what about a jersey? I ain't paying for that either. I said, well, get me a Nautica Pima cotton shirt. She said, I ain't paying for that either. That shirt $100. She said, I'm going to just get you a yellow. She said, I'm going to get you the same color, but you ain't get that one. That's what she did, though, didn't it? So I ain't buying that there. She said, I ain't paying for that. I couldn't even say nothing. I said, how much? I can't even. I wasn't even mad. I said, golly, they gonna tell me what she gonna do with my money. That's the key thing I'm telling y'all now. This wasn't her money. You know what I'm saying? I'm in prison. I didn't want y'all to make sure clear this. I'm in prison. She was not spending her money. That was my money. I just want to make sure that y'all know that was my money. You know what I'm saying? She had power of attorney over my bank account. That nigga telling me, I ain't sending you that. I said, I can't even say that. I said, all I say is my nigga. I say my nigga. My nigga. You know what I'm saying? Say in Timothy 3 and 14. I really wanted them shoes though. Of course, I ain't buying them shoes. It don't matter, we don't wear Jordan no more anyway. He said, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and have been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the Kodesh scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in the Messiah Yahshua. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. Why you think Yahshua was able to do all good works? He was instructed in the scripture. We just read it in Psalm chapter 40. He said, you opened my ear, and he said, thy law was within my heart to do thy will. That means you taught it to me, I heard it, I believed it, I went and did it. And because of this, you showed your tender mercies on me to raise me from the dead, that I could be the firstborn of every creature and all things, that I might have preeminence, to be the firstborn from the dead, that I might have many brethren that be conformed to my image, and that they may have right to life. You understand what I'm telling you? From his word. So that means, guess what that means? That means we got to pick up and go to work right behind him. This man didn't do all that work for you to turn around and continue to be stupid. How would you sit back and think, and I know I'm using the word feel, but not forth as emotions, but forth as the thought process. How would you feel? What would be the thought process in your mind? I did all this work. I did all this stuff to pave the way and make a way for you, and you still are an idiot? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? You'll be moved to kill him. Ain't but one or two things can happen. You're only going to be angry or you're going to be moved to have compassion on them. One of the two. One of the two. Pray to the Lord and be compassionate. See, now we mentioned Romans chapter 5, because I know I called for that. Said we were going to go around now. Romans 5. Because he said, man, that man sat back and said, who going to do all this work? Who going to do it? Before we even read Romans chapter 5, Isaiah chapter 6, I done referenced this so many times. Who going to do it? Isaiah 6 and 5. Go get this here, run this on up out of here. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, Yah of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, lo, this hath touched thy lips. Thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sin is purged. That's that furnace of affliction. Because this man was afflicted. What did he tell him? He said, man, if this don't happen to me, how the scripture's going to be fulfilled? This guy, I got to do this word. Remember when we look back at Nehemiah, and he sat back and said, we're going to read it in a minute. We're going to read it in a minute. Listen what he said. And I heard a voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, here am I, send me. And he said, go tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see you indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. And we know the Lord quoted that and said it's fulfilled right now. It's happening right now in this day. The word being preached, and they see, they got eyes, they still can't see. They got ears, they still can't hear. They kind of heart still can't understand. That's why they're not healed. Could this man say, here, put this live coal, put this fire on his lip. That'll cleanse it. That'll get him purified. You know, I know a dude, man, he used to do talking about the baptism of fire was some of the worst preaching I ever heard in my life. You know, I'm not familiar with hearing a lot of people preach, so when I hear certain stuff, I'm like, this is horrible. Just messing it up. Messing it up. I'm going to tell you something. My sister can tell you now. When it came down, like, I would sit down and talk to people about the word all day long. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about, like, really preaching and breaking it down, I ain't do that for a long time. A long time. I'm going to tell you, it didn't really start till that old big old head nigga from, that's when it started. I ain't really start doing it till that nigga there. I ain't really start doing it. Now, I ain't really start doing it till 2000 when I got that phone. That's when it started. And I still, and you know that, and I still wasn't sharing it with a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't messing it up. It just wasn't in my mind to do it. Like, it never crossed my mind to, yeah, he was, but it never crossed my mind. Like me sending them text messages to everybody, and little mother wouldn't have said, well, where's ours at? I would have never sent it to, it was only going to one person. One person. It never crossed my mind to share it with nobody else. Like, I would talk to them if they came to the house, but you talking about really sitting down, putting something together. I wasn't thinking about doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. The man that say you got something to do, I'd just be sitting down somewhere chilling. Like, if you came and hollered at me, I'd talk to you about it. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be doing it right here. Like I said, you know why we got the Ustream? Because my brother-in-law did it. I ain't say nothing to him about having that. I ain't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Why we got this conference call line? Because of Brother Kip. I wasn't thinking about no conference call line. I'm trying to figure out what. We ain't going to be able to fit all these niggas on here. Guess niggas just ain't going to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Like, just I go to mention, man, I could go out there in them public forums, man, and sound like this here, man, I ain't on there talking about, oh, you can catch us at such and such. I preach on such and such day. If you don't ask, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I done had people talk to me, and I can tell they want somebody to teach them the word, and I still won't tell them, you can holler at me. I won't even tell her. I bless you, Lord willing, he give you somebody to teach you the word, man. I say God got men everywhere. Straight up. God got men everywhere. I done had a girl tell me, well, what like this here preacher in my city, know my sister. The reason why I'm dealing with her is because she asked my sister something. My sister told her holler at me, and she know I preach the word, and I ain't tell her nan time come holler at me. Not once. Yeah, come on, I ain't finna do that there. I did that one time. Messing with that nigga there. Like, come on. And this ain't what you want to do. I ain't ask a nigga come on no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do that. Shoot, pray the Lord. Y'all be lucky. I just send you a reminder to let you know you're on. That we already on. Because you should already know. You should already know. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I'm just being honest with you. You should already know. I shouldn't have to tell you, you serve God, knowing we start at 8 o'clock. I shouldn't even have to tell you that. You know, there's times don't never change. You know, every new moon, what time we start on new moon? Dead silent. All you niggas on here don't nobody know what time. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. What time we start on Wednesday? What time we start on Wednesday? What time we start on Sabbath night? What time we start Sabbath day? And what time we start on Pentecost? 1:30. What time we start on other feast days? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. So you already know when. You already know when. The reason why I'm saying it because you grown. I bet you this here. When the white folks say you supposed to be on the clock 6:45, I bet you know what time you supposed to be on that clock. Tearing it up, boy. I'm finna be late. You already know this here. My homeboy said this here a long time ago. And they say, man, you don't if you don't show up to work, you don't get paid. Well, if you don't show up to do the work of the Lord, you're not gonna get paid. When I'm talking about paid, I ain't talking about doing no preaching. I'm talking about the payment of everlasting. Yahshua wouldn't have got paid if he didn't come to do the work that the Father sent him to do. Was he going to get paid if he didn't do it? He say, Father, I finished the work which you gave me to do. When you look at Nehemiah, he finished the work, didn't he? Let's look at Nehemiah since I called his name. We'll get to Romans chapter 5 in a minute. But it's something in John chapter 4 and Matthew chapter 11. Lord will, I'm going to show y'all that before we get out of here because it's 11 o'clock. I ain't finna hold y'all here much longer. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 17. They which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens, with those that laid it, everyone with his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, listen what he said, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. And what place therefore you hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, our God shall fight unto you. You heard, fight for us. You heard what he said? The work is great and large. We're separated upon a wall, one far from another. Hold what you got, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. After we look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, I think I want 1 Peter chapter 5. Maybe even 1 Peter chapter 1. Maybe even James chapter 1. I'm going to see. He said we separated when we far from each other, right? That's what he said, right? He said, but when you hear the sound of the trumpet, God going to fight for it, right? He said, but everybody doing the work though, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. I don't think I want verse 1. What I want is verse 8. Verse 9 is what I want. Listen what he said. Every Hebrew Israelite favorite part, they mess it up. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. Now this man just sat back and said, now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face, for I know him. You know, you knew what you was for a little bit, but then when he put it to you, you can see, right? But you already said, we know in part, we prophesy in part. All these men were up there on this wall doing this work, but they were all separated from each other, though, weren't they? They were all separated in trust. That means you knew your work, you knew your work, you knew your work, you knew your work, get to it. Same thing you read in Ephesians chapter 4 when he said, I gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, some teachers for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body, till we come jointly into one man. Going right back to what I told you, what Peter said, let a man minister according to the ability that God gave him, because we scattered apart. You know, when you scattered apart, each man got a certain ability. Man, there's a synagogue and an assembly of Yah in one place, he get him a word. It's another one over here, he get him a word. It's another one over here, they get him a word, till we all come together and we be perfect. See, y'all didn't sit back and catch something. He said we all separated, but when you hear the sound of what? He'll fight for us. What trumpet you think that is? Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11. About verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give thee thanks, O Yah Elohim Almighty, which art and was and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou should give reward unto thy servants, and the prophets, and the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and thou should destroy them which destroy the earth. So when that seventh trumpet sounds, y'all know from what happens when we go back to Jerusalem, he gonna stand up and fight for us, even though some are over here, some are over there. So I ain't talking about some in America, some in Europe, and some in the land either now. You know what I'm saying? We'll be separated. Even though we in the same place, some will be over there, you can't get to them. You know, Israel is a big place, you know. Come on back to Nehemiah chapter 4. You know, the police over there beating and killing dudes over there right now. I don't know if all them Ethiopians over there Hebrew by blood, but they show treat them like they is. They treat them like they is. Them boys say they got mad. They standing there, y'all ain't finna be beating on us like this no more. But you see the key thing he said, when you hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. You know what that means? That means to come unto us, right? What did Paul tell us in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4? That when that last trumpet blown, and he get that great shout, that those that are alive won't prevent those that are asleep. They'll all be coming together, they won't. Even though they separate. Listen what he said in verse 21. So we labored in the work, and half of them held their spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time, I said unto the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us and labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that everyone put them off for washing. You heard what he said, that we might labor in the day? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. He said, ain't none of them sat back, we laboring in the day. If you're going to be doing your labor, you need to do it in the light. Remember how we started in John chapter 9? He said, I do my work while it's still day, because the night comes where no man can work. Because you know you ain't doing no work, you living in sin. Because the fruit of the wicked is sin. He said, we labor in the daytime. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, about verse 4. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. You are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor the darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Because you don't do no work at nighttime, you do work in the daytime, don't you? That's what he said, man. I do my work in the daytime, night come, can't nobody work. So hold on. He said, we are the day, let us watch and be sober. Mark chapter 13. That's what y'all need. Sober meaning being clear-minded, not getting drunk like what y'all think about. You high on some weed or you been sipping alcohol. Mean you got a clear mind. Your mind frame clear. You ain't cluttered up and mudded up with the things and the cares and affairs of this life and the workings of the flesh. You ain't sitting back. You ain't worrying about these things. You're not controlled by that. Mark 13 verse 33. Make it 32. But of that day and that hour, no man, no not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is. Listen what he say. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Is not Nehemiah just commanded all these men to their work and told some men to watch? Have watch, have work. Now this man done sat back and commanded you that you ought to be watching and working. Your working is you ought to be keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. You ought to be standing on the faith and the promise. Boy. Romans chapter 5. Let me hit that last thing right here. I'm going to show you something. You know the crazy thing here though? And when we sit back and look at it, not crazy as for what y'all thinking about, that you know y'all actually going to reap the benefits of a labor that you didn't even do. Y'all know that? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Exactly the gift. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Romans 5 and 1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom we also have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, rejoice in hope of the glory of God. Don't you know that we had access by this faith when we look back at who we started with this here, with Abraham? Because didn't we already read that in James chapter 2 when we went to look at Genesis 18 with John chapter 5? Because he said he was imputed unto him righteousness, he was called a friend of God because he believed God and then he did the work. Because the grace was the gift. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation work patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, and hope make not ashamed, because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKodesh, which is given unto us. For when we were yet without strength, in due time the Messiah died for the ungodly. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die, yet peradventure for a good man some would even dare to die. But God commended his love towards us, and that while we were yet sinners, the Messiah died for us. Say, who else was going to do it? Wasn't nobody else going to do it. It was only one man who was willing to stand up and do that. That was Moses. And guess what? Yahshua had to come fulfill that same work of Moses. People talk that trash. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people sit back and say they'll die for their children. No, they won't. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why? Because nigga ain't never died before. They don't know what they don't expect. Some people will. Some people will because they don't fear death. You know what I'm saying? Their love for the person they seeking to save is greater than their fear of dying. You know what I'm saying? Even when Yahshua's flesh was getting weak and he was praying that the cup would pass, his love for the Father first, and then his love for us as well, overpowered that fear to where I love you more than I fear death. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. Because this man flesh saying, hey, you know, hey, let me not do this here. I don't know about this here, but I already been given my mission statement. I already know what I'm here to do. John chapter 13 verse 1, and we'll read that. I already know what I'm here to do. See, y'all actually don't even sit back and look at, thank the Lord, that this is going right back to the thing we looked about the love of God on Wednesday, even though it might not seem like it, because you got to love what you do. When you love what you do, you're going to go all out for it. John 13 and 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Yahshua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. You sit back looking at this, what I'm doing it for. The love I have for them, this is why I'm doing it. See, Hebrews 6 and 10. Ooh, Ooh, definitely gonna have to work another chair over here. These things are hard as concrete. You be sitting on for an extended period of time, and these pillows are doing absolutely nothing. Hebrews 6 and 10. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which you have showed towards his name, and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister. And we desire that every one of you do the same, show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end, that you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. Now you see the thing he just said? A labor of love. You know what I'm saying? They love to do it. He said God will not forget it. Do you not know that the Son said in John chapter 17, I manifested thy name unto them? He ministered unto the saints and did minister. You think God forgot him, or did he raise him from the dead? Come over here to Proverbs chapter 21, because he just told you, don't be slothful. You know, a lot of people slothful. Some people slothful in a lot of stuff. You know, I know a lot of them. I know I done seen Hebrews come up talking about don't come with that bum doctrine. Hebrews, Proverbs 21 and 25. Because you had some niggas you had Hebrews teaching some niggas they didn't have to word. All they had to do was just post word on Facebook. And niggas should send them donations. Any of y'all ever seen that before? Yeah. I mean, Nathaniel 7 actually came with a video about that. They had nigga teaching, well, America gonna be destroyed. You might as well not do nothing. I would, I'll be out of here in about 30 minutes, but that's true story. You know what I'm saying? Then you had dudes like Ricard from Gathering of Christ that were telling people this country gonna be destroyed anyway. So go ahead and take out loans and don't pay the people back. That's all they're doing. Proverbs 21 and 25. He said, the desire of the slothful kill him, for his hands refuse to labor. He covet greedily all the day long, but the righteous give and spare not. He say the hands of the slothful refuse to labor, so it kill it. He say the desire. He covet greedily all the day long. Go right back to what we looked at on Wednesday about the love of money is the root of all evil. Though some coveted after they erred from the faith, being pierced through with many sorrow, because he refused to labor. You know what I'm saying? Refused to labor. Now you sit back and look at some people refusing to do the work of God, which is to walk in their word. What's going to happen to them? Let's see what that desire is going to. Hebrews chapter 4. I still got to show you talking about that gift. I still got 2 more things to show. I'm going to work it in. I'm good. We had a minute, hour 55, but it's 11:15. Hopefully I'll be done by 11:30. What I just said? Got off when I said that. What was it? Yeah, Hebrews chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left of us entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with the faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest. As he said, I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place on the 7th day on this wise, God did rest the 7th day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remained that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. You know why the people didn't get in? They didn't want to work the works of God. Remember how we also read this on Wednesday in Psalm 78? That they didn't work the works of God, and their heart was not steadfast with God. So you got to sit back and look at it. The first work of God is to believe his word. Thank the Lord. Let's hold what you got. What it is, Psalm 78, we'll read that. After we read Psalm 78, we'll look at John chapter 6, verse 26. After we read John chapter 6, verse 26, we'll look at oh, I just escaped my mind. It'll come back. 1 Peter chapter 1, thank the Lord, about verse 22. Psalm 78, about verse 3. I'll start at 1. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers